Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Elaine. I wanted to show everybody how, or kind of go over my greenhouse. I've been getting a lot of questions on how I made it. So I'm going to go over it real quick, and hopefully it'll help someone that has some scraps around that can make their own greenhouse. Hold on. Okay, so this is the greenhouse. And I put it on my Facebook and Instagram, and people are asking how I made it. So I wanted to show everybody the basics. Now, this greenhouse, the only thing that I had to go and get for it was the pallets. And I went by a construction site. It was a store remodeling, and they had some pallets out back. And so I picked up 4 pallets. Now when I picked up the 4 pallets, I thought they were all the same size, but I had one just a tiny bit taller than the other 3, but it really didn't make a difference. So I'm not sure that you have to do all 3 or all 4 pallets the same size, but in my symmetrical mind, I always think, you know, they needed to be the same, but I think you can make them out of any size. So what I started with was I had a regular piece of plywood, 4x8, and I cut it in half. So you can see that along the bottom there, and I was thinking that would help me keep the critters out without having to put up a lot of fencing on the pallets. So I laid that on the ground, and I put 2 pallets. I just lined them up on each side. And you can see my height difference here on my pallets. But I just lined them up on each side, and I screwed the plywood on. Then I did the same to this other side. And when I tipped them up, I had these cattle panels. Now I also had some 3/4 inch PVC pipe that I was playing with. And so what I did is I put the PVC pipe in between the gaps here, and I arched it over, and that actually worked. And you can zip tie those PVC pipes to these boards, and it holds the PVC pipes up. Now the PVC pipes that I had, I want to say they were 12 foot, and it was just about the same height as this. So you can do this with PVC pipes as well. However, we rented this place, this property, to some previous renters, and they were here for a year, and they left a bunch of stuff behind. And part of what they left behind were these hog panels. So, and I'm not even sure how long these hog panels are. I want to say they're 12 foot. They're not the super long ones, but they're like 4 foot by 12 foot, I think. So anyway, they're standard hog panels that you just buy. I didn't cut anything down. So anyway, I had these, and I thought that would probably make a more secure than the pipes. And so that's what I decided to do. So I was thinking, how can I get this to attach? What I did was I took a 2x4, and I put it just right above this to where I would have this little, like a 1/2 inch gap, or maybe an inch gap, I guess, here on top of the pallet board. So it gave me this space between the pallet frame and the 2x4. So you can see there's a good like inch gap there. So I put one end of the pallet, or the hog panel, in there, and I arched it up over the top, and I did the same with this side, and you can see the gap there with the other 2x4, and that's how that was initially held on. So once I did that, it kind of made this really bowed lower ceiling and I guess that would be okay, but I kind of wanted to secure the hog panels without them accidentally, like if I bumped it or something, it would just pop out for, because it's just held by tension. So what I did is I ran a 2x4 with the top of the panels. You can see or not panels, the pallets, with the top of the pallets. So I ran this 2x4 all the way down, and I sandwiched the hog panel in between the pallet and the 2x4. So that is how it is secured on. And I used 3-inch screws so that it's not going anywhere. So, and I did it on the pallet frame itself. So, excuse me. So what we did is, oh, we're fixing to have a thunderstorm. So when I did that, it actually brought in the side from being so bowed and like a shorter ceiling. It kind of pushed in the side and it made a taller ceiling, which I like that. So then what I did is I had a bunch of these clips, and I pulled the plastic over and I clipped it in place, and I thought that would hold it. Well, it didn't. So the next day I come out and I'm realizing I have to do something different. So what I did is I this side of the plastic, I put it around the side, and then I put this the plastic that goes over the top, I wrapped it around the inside. And so this is pipe insulation, and I just zip tied it to the hog panels all the way around. Now I think you could probably do the pool floaties, pool noodles, and I think that would be more whimsical and more fun actually. And I think if I have to redo this plastic, that's probably what I'll do next time, is the pool noodles. I think that would be more fun. So I did that, and that held great. My husband, I put these frames up, the box frames here, and I knew I needed a door here, and I wasn't real sure how to do that. So he fashioned a door for me, and that was real easy to do. It's just, you know, simple frame, and we put plastic on the inside. Now this hinge, we happen to have an old screen door, like a storm door in the barn, and we took that hinge off. We just repurposed that hinge for this door. So now for the summer, we left a little gap on top so that we have a little bit more airflow. And then we've got, see how we put the header on the bottom, that board on the bottom? We'll put one up on the top, you know, when it cools off. But right now I wanted to be able to get some airflow in, so we didn't secure this plastic here. We secured it to the hog panel. You can see the clips up there. They're temporary, but you know, when it gets cooler, we'll do a better job of fastening that. So, and then let's look on the inside. So on the back, I've got another 2x8 panel, or plywood, I guess is what it was. And then I put I ran a 2x4 on top of it, and that's how I did the frame. You can see on the outside here, we'll go out in a minute. I put a little workbench on the outside, and then this over here is a dirt box where I can put my dirt and reclaim it after potting season is over. And like I said, I didn't spend anything on this greenhouse. We had this all up in a barn, and it was just stuff that the renters left behind or that has just been there for years. So, and pardon my mess on this part. This, I just had these stapled on with a staple gun, the plastic, and we had a first good, you know, wind storm, and it just took out this whole side. And I came out like 2 in the morning, it's just flapping everywhere. And so I just grabbed whatever boards I could and started sandwiching the plastic in between the 3x3s that I have here. And it held, and I just haven't gotten back out here to pretty it up yet. So I'll eventually, what I'll do is I'll just, you know, get one of these and trim it down and screw that in nice and pretty so it won't look so tacky. But anyway, we found these old ladders, and they're not usable, but they're usable enough for me to put shelves in them. And I just thought it was kind of whimsical, kind of fun, so that's what we did with that. And this over here is an old countertop from the house from years ago, the 70s, obviously, when Harvest Gold was in. And it was up there, it was in good shape, and so I just ran a 2x4 from this square. I put a 2x4 here, and I just ran a 2x4 all the way over to that top, and then I just set that up there. I think I put a little wood support in the back there to help it. Excuse me. And then we found this old ironing board up there. It still had a cover on it, but I took the cover off, and I thought, you know, that's an adjustable shelf right there. So that's, I'm going to put that in here too. But literally everything that I have here was already here. I didn't spend any money on anything in it to make it, you know, what it is. I'll go on this other side so I can explain this a little bit better. What I did here was I wanted these to be able to roll up, the sides to be able to roll up, so I could get some good airflow in there. And so what I did is I just stapled the plastic to a trim piece of wood. You can see it's nothing fancy, just to give it a little weight so that when I put it down, it, you know, it'll have something to hold it in place a little bit. Plus I have these clips here that I can clip. Oops, that one came off. That I can clip better to hold it more secure if it's like super windy. So, and then we found some extra pieces of guttering up in the barn. So it's not a perfect fit. You can see it's a little short, but now remember, we've got this 2x4 up here that sandwiches the hog pen, you know, in between the pallet and the 2x4. So we just screwed this gutter to it and put it at an angle, and I've got a rain barrel that's up in the barn. I haven't moved down here yet. That we'll put right here to gather water, so I'll have some fresh water, you know, so I won't have to use the hose, run the hose out here. So that's what we did with that, just to help keep the plastic even more secure than what it was. So, and then also it makes a nice place to set my trim board in so that I can raise up the sides. So it's not pretty, and it, you know, it could sure be trimmed up and made a lot prettier, but it's functional. And then I have this wonderful table that my brother came up with. This is some kind of a store shelving that he had, I guess, or found. And he made a picnic table style bench, or, you know, platform underneath it. Now this picnic table, if you will, you can take this metal grate off, and this table will sandwich up so that you can store it, and it stores nice and neat, and it takes like, I don't know, it's like 8 inches wide when you sandwich it all up. But you take this off and then you sandwich it up, and it's just the handiest thing ever. And then he made this for me. So, and that is pretty awesome. He just made it for me like last week, and I don't have an idea of what to put in it yet. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. But I haven't figured out what to put in it yet. So, but these are just some potted plants that I had going. I've got a, I don't know if you can see that up there or not, but I've got an in-ground garden up there. But here's the bench that I made on the back side of it. And then I made a dirt box. Now this lifts up. Right here, this lifts up. So you can get to the dirt in there. And then I also, I did not bolt this piece on. I just have it in place with some, I don't even know what you call these latch wood things. Anyway, they pivot so that I can take this whole front panel off and sweep it out if I need to, or if I get, you know, I need to clean it out for some reason, or heaven forbid a snake being there, whatever. I wanted a way to be able to clean it out without having to shovel to death. So I made those latches on the front, and that seems to be doing pretty good. So, but that's it. That's my little greenhouse project. But I hope this helps somebody. And in these times, you just, you know, you want to be able to do what you can with the least amount of money spent. And this truly was a junk project. And it was a fun junk project. So hopefully somebody else can get some ideas off of this and adapt it to whatever you need. And it'll be beneficial to you. Until later, you guys take care and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.